Hello, today is Friday, January 17th. This presentation will look at the climate numbers for January so far and the weather pattern for the latter half of the month. Finally, we will look ahead to the latest climate outlook for February and the February-March-April season. Through the middle of January, here are the monthly precipitation and temperature trends. In the top portion of this slide, you can see precipitation values for area airports with departure from normal values in parentheses. The dry January pattern is evident at all sites but Craig. The bottom portion of the slide shows that January temperatures were colder than average except in Craig and Durango. Shown here is the percent of normal snowpack for river basins across Colorado. Except for significantly below normal snowpack in southwest Colorado, the map makes snowpack look above normal. But for northwestern Colorado, most of the snow has fallen along the Continental Divide, with drier conditions near the Utah border. This drier to the west pattern shows up on the Utah map, with eastern Utah showing below normal snowpack. This is the large-scale weather pattern that had dominated the month of December. The ridge in the eastern Pacific blocked much of the Pacific storms from having a direct track into our region. The northern Pacific storms have had to climb the ridge, then dive southeast through the northern Rockies, generally brushing our northern forecast area. This produced snowy conditions to the north and east of the storm track, and dry conditions to the south and west. Here is the weather pattern on 16 January with the ridge still oriented along the west coast. And here is the forecast for January 26th with the eastern Pacific ridge still in place. Until this pattern changes, expect periods of snow in the mountains of northwest Colorado and drier than normal conditions for the rest of the forecast area. The next chance of snow, mainly in northwest Colorado, was forecast to occur on Friday, 24 January. Here are three annual precipitation graphs for representative sites in this forecast area: Vernal in northeast Utah, Grand Junction in west central Colorado, and Cortez in southwest Colorado. February is typically one of the drier months of the year, with March and April climatologically wetter months. Shifting now to the forecast, here is the National Climate Prediction Center's outlook for February. Except for southeast Utah that has a subtle shift towards warmer than normal conditions, this forecast area is in the equal chances category. In other words, no forecast skill for temperatures or precipitation. And here is the Climate Prediction Center's outlook for the February-March-April season. On the left chart, you can see our shift towards warmer probabilities, especially across the south. And the right chart of precipitation probability says there are equal chances of near, above, or below normal precipitation. For seasonal outlooks, climatologists look to the state of the oceans for clues to storm track and intensity. This slide shows the forecast from numerous models of how sea surface temperatures in the equatorial eastern Pacific will vary from normal through the winter, spring, and summer of 2014 from left to right across the graph. You can see the majority of the forecast lines remain close to the 0.0 line, in other words, a forecast that neutral conditions will continue. But there is a general trend upward with time towards warmer than normal conditions, or El Nino, as we head into the warm season. Colder than normal conditions in the equatorial eastern Pacific are called La Nina. Interestingly, since 1950, a neutral season like we are in now has never been followed by a La Nina season. As you can see, the forecast models also show La Nina is unlikely to develop this year. One method to add quality to this national outlook is to analyze the climate record for representative sites in the region. These 7 sites have long and strong climate records. Looking back at neutral winter seasons at these mountain sites, some patterns emerge. Neutral winters at the 7 Colorado mountain sites tend to produce a wet December, which has occurred this season. January and February tend to be drier than normal, which, except for northwest Colorado, has been true so far. Finally, neutral winters tend to produce a wet March and April. These winters most often end up below normal for seasonal snowpack, but there are exceptions to that rule. This concludes this climate summary and outlook. The next one will be produced in late February. You can follow us on our website at www.weather.gov/GJT or on Facebook or Twitter. Thank you for listening.